Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Wrestling Underground podcast. I am your host, Shibata. Chad Porter. Joining me, as always, is the glorious one, Marcus Green. Marcus, how are you?
I'm here. It's holiday time of year.
It's the most Shibata-ist time of the year.
No headbutts.
No headbutts. It's zero headbutts, sir. My name is Coach Boone, and I will be telling you all about the number of headbutts we'll be doing this year. Zero. How many headbutts are in a mile? Zero. Petey, pick up this ball, and you run every single one of them. You're headbutting me, Petey. You're headbutting me. Remember the Shibata.
Yo, what you got to say? I don't want his head to gain another yard.
I don't want his head to gain another hair follicle. You shave it all. If he tries to spike it in a mohawk, you rip it off and you make him remember forever the day he got a haircut from the barber briefcase.
Oh my God, it's one of the greatest movie speeches of all time.
And then Frank Castle killed him. Well, no,
Oh my God, that's right.
Technically, Howard Stern killed him.
That is such a versatile actor. I've been watching him on Yellowstone for going on like 2.5 seasons now, and it didn't click for me until like a few weeks ago. I'm like, God damn it, that's Coach Yost.
Yup. Like
Because he's older now.
He was all clean cut and remember the Titans and like, yeah, he looks like your
Yeah,
neighbor. And then like in every other role, he looks like the crazy vagabond and the even crazier sociopath and some dude at a BDSM
now,
club. And it's like, what?
now like he would have been a Suns villain.
He may have been a Suns villain for all we know. That dude is a chameleon.
Exactly.
My favorite villain is still technically not a villain. It's Potter, the DEA agent or whatever he was. He wasn't DEA. He was like a prosecutor. And then he just
You
shows
talking
up
about?
at the end of the season, like with the Japanese businessman trying to buy into Charming Heights with
Oh,
whatever the ex sheriff's brother, whatever his name was, and he walks in with like a bunch of like weird ass porn and dildos and shit. And he pours it on the floor, and he's like, "This is who you're getting to business with," and then he leaves, and it's like, "Whoa."
that's not the guy with the sister, right?
No. That was
Oh,
the former. I think he may have been like a former DEA agent. No, this is like
God.
season 2 or 3. He was working with the Rico stuff, but eventually he pulled out, and like he wasn't a bad guy, like in terms of like the story, but he was very dedicated to what he believed was right. And I think he even had like a conversation with Jax where he's like, "It's not that I don't like you, it's that people like you don't deserve freedom," or something like that. And he's like, "And I'm going to execute the letter of the law to bring you in, but I'm not going to break the law to do it, Jax. I'm not you." Like he was very staunch in his beliefs to the point where when he lost, essentially, he was like, "All right, fair enough." And then then he did like a favor for Jackson Company because he got the Japanese businessmen who were going to tear down basically half a Charming. He got them kicked out because he exposed them for being smut peddlers. And I'm like, haha. His name was Potter though, and he had like a killer beard and like his hair was a little bit long. He kind of looked like a 1970s like folk rock star. If you Google Potter Sons of Anarchy, you'll see him. You'll see him.
Gotcha.
All right, I'm actually gonna do it myself. Make sure I got the right
Oh, look, it's already in the thing. Oh,
Lincoln
him.
Potter. Yeah,
Okay, him.
he was very very by the book. I like that about him. Apparently, he came back for the new show, Mayans. So may have to get into that just to see more Potter. So, with that being said, let's get into the big news. Obviously, Shibata is back. Hopefully, this time with far fewer headbutts. Shibata, headbutt zero. Or new taste, same Shibata. Fewer headbutt calories. He's expected to make his return to New Japan, I think, on night 1. Let me see. Should have something about it. Yeah. Right now, it's Katsuyori Shibata versus. I don't think they've announced his opponent. It just says here on Fightful X. So I had to assume that that doesn't mean anything. So I'm excited. Like, he had a major return. What was it, 4 years ago, when he came out and he was in his t-shirt and shorts, and everyone like freaked out, and all the women were crying because it's Shibata. And then he got in the ring and he did a back bump, and then he just said, "I'm here, I'm alive," and then he left. And like that was pretty dope. And then he came back a few times and did some stuff in the ring. Like he beat the shit out of Genta. That was pretty dope. A lot of people started to think that he might be coming back. Then he did an interview where he basically said, "I'm planning a comeback. I just don't know what I have left, and like I can't do a full-time schedule. I don't think so. Like all my matches need to count. So this is going to be a big thing for him. The talk is what fans want to see is the U.S. title champion Genta taking on Shibata. Right now, I think that's a possibility because I don't think he wrestles until night 2. He wrestles night 2 against Hiroshi Tanahashi. So there is that opening for Genta if they go that route. Um, then again, I'm not as in touch with Japanese wrestling at the moment as I have been in the past. So X might actually be a wrestler. I don't know. I have no idea. Marcus Shibata's back. Any thoughts?
No, I'm glad, man. I'm just, honestly, I'm just glad that he's healthy and even it has the potential to do anything. But I think I'm always just be cautious just because of how close it was to him not being here, how severe it was. So I damn near want him to come back against Yano, honestly, as a,
Yeah.
as a situation just to keep it light. But that's just me, because I feel like in the situation he was in, like you heal, but you don't really, ever really get back to 100% with something like that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that was kind of like his thing was the headbutts. Like he always did headbutts, and breaking his forehead open the hard way was kind of always his shtick. Um, the thing is now though is like he's kind of in that Edge Christian Cage Sting realm where he can still go, but he has to be careful. Now, considering New Japan's policies and how stringent they are about letting people in, because you have to remember New Japan, they're the forebearers, the forefront guys of the Japanese pro wrestling, and most Japanese companies are held to pretty high standards in terms of how they treat their employees. Now, not every company. Um, there's like these. I'm trying to think of what they're called. They're companies that basically work you to death, essentially, and they're frowned upon, but they're allowed to exist. And I forget what they're called. But those are few and far between. And the work culture in Japan is very different than the work culture in the States. But there's a kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? Not an appreciation, but there's an honor in exhausting yourself for your job. But there's also a lot of precautions put into place, and New Japan is no different. They have many precautions. So it'll be interesting to see, what Shibata can do because I don't think he's getting cleared just because. I think he's getting cleared because he's cleared to go. I don't see this being a situation where there's anything nefarious going on or anything where um, he's going to be in increased danger because they're flubbing paperwork. This isn't Cole Beasley here, folks. So I think he's good to go. I just don't know who he's going to face. I wouldn't be surprised because like they don't always deliver. I wouldn't be surprised if it's someone like the Great Okan. Just straight up
Yeah,
like, oh, okay.
that's that's another one. Yeah, and that, like you said, I mean, absolutely what you said about that. I don't doubt New Japan because, he means a lot to them, specifically that audience. So they're definitely not going to do anything to put him in a severe amount of in a severe scenarios or anything. But yeah, like you said, you just got to be careful. Like as much as the match would be epic, you don't come back and start off with Ishii, you know.
No.
So, yeah, the Great Okan, uh, like I said, Yano. Trying to think of somebody else.
It looks like it
Um,
might be Kenta because Great Okan's in a tag match. Another one is
yeah,
Tanahashi, but he's also in a tag match on night one. So is Kenta. Never mind. So it can't be Kenta. One of the names I was thinking of might be like someone like Clark Connors or Carl Fredericks because they were students of his at the New Japan LA dojo. But I don't know what
yeah,
travel restrictions are going to look like. So I don't think that's a possibility because I know Clark Connors is with New Japan Strong at the moment, so I don't see him getting over there. I don't know if Carl Fredericks is currently in Japan. If he is, then that would make sense to have his pupil take him on, but, who knows at this point? I don't. Maybe it's Carl Anderson. Who knows? Could be any number of guys. Could be a guy from Noah. Could be Kenny Omega's blow up doll, or was that Kota Ibushi's blow up doll? Or did they share it? I don't think I want to know the answer to that
Who?
question.
Yeah.
So here's the cards. This is night one. Yo is taking on Sho, the former members of Roppongi Vice, or Roppongi 3K. Their former mentor, Rocky Romero, is tagging up with Ryusuke Taguchi and Hiroshi Tanahashi to take on the Bullet Club's Kenta, Taiji Ishimori, and El Fantasmo. Los Ingobernables de Japón, Sanada Bushi, and Tetsuya Naito will take on the United Empires, Jeff Cobb, Will Ospreay, and the Great Okan. Every time I hear the Great Okan, I think he's like some D-tier Dragon Ball Z villain. So,
Yeah, that is a name.
Katsuri Shibata is taking on X. I think that means to be announced. It might be a wrestler named X. I don't know. We'll find out. Tomohiro Ishii defends his never openweight championship against Eva. And then we have IWGP Tag Team Champions Dangerous Techers. If you say that too fast, you're gonna need to put out a Twitter apology, folks. That's Zachary Sabre Jr. and Taichi, Marcus' favorite wrestler, taking on Chaos's Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. We have IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship and El Desperado, maybe the weakest of the light heavyweight champions in some time, taking on Hiromu Takahashi. New Japan released a video basically of him and his giant ass cat, so that's something. Go check out New Japan's YouTube channel to check that video out. IWGP Heavyweight Championship, World Heavyweight Championship, Shingo Takagi is taking on Kazuchika Okada. That's night one. Night two is going to feature the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship. It's going to be the Flying Tigers, Robbie Eagles, and Tiger Mask defending against Mega Coaches, Ryusuke Taguchi and Rocky Romero, and Bullet Club's cutest tag team. I guess that's the thing. El Fantasmo and Taiji Ishimori. We're going to have a Stardom special match. It's Mayu Iwatani and Starlight Kid taking on Tam Nakano and Saya Kamitani. I think I'm saying these names right. God help me if I don't. Then we have a KOPW 2022 four-way. What is that? King of Pro Wrestling? Is that what the KOPW is for New Japan? I think. We'll find out. We then have a never ever openweight six-man tag team championship. It's the House of Torture. What? That's a great name. Oh, Marcus, I enjoy that name. The House of Torture. That's Evil, Yujiro, Takahashi, and Sho taking on Chaos and Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, and Yo. This is... we'll finish the card. I just got to say this. I love this. You have the Yo versus Sho singles match on night one, and now you're putting them in a six-man tag match on night two. One of the biggest gripes I always have about like the WWE, especially in like the mid 2000s when it was good, is they never gave you satisfying conclusions. They did this entire 5 month arc of Kane versus X Pac. You want to know how it ended? In a 3 minute squash match at WrestleMania and a tag match where X Pac and Road Dogg took on Kane and who was it, Rikishi? What a terrible fucking ending to that feud. Jesus. New Japan's doing it right. I like this. Then Sonata's taking on the Great Okan. Then Naito's taking on Jeff Cobb. U.S. title match, Genta versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. I would imagine Shibata's going to be in his corner because, you know, they were part of the Three Musketeers together. But, you know, that obviously. And then the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. Either Shingo Takagi or Kazuchika Okada, whoever's the last man standing, is taking on Will Ospreay in essentially a title unification match because Will Ospreay is the quote-unquote real heavyweight champion. Now, I need to bring this up. If Ospreay is in Japan, that means that there's probably times to get somebody like Carl Fredericks or Clark Connors or one of those other cats in there. So, very possible that Shibata takes on a student, assuming X isn't actually a wrestler. I haven't seen anyone talk about who he's facing. I'm just going off of what Fightful put in their rundown. They just put X.
Yeah, what if Tatsu comes off commentary?
Yeah. No, thank you. How about the Great Muta or Joe Doring or trying to think of some other
Another
Japanese
tiger.
legends. Yeah, like one of the umpteenth tigers that are there. Tiger Mask, Black Tiger, Tiger Black, Black Tiger, Black Tiger, Black Tiger, Black. Number 2.
I don't know. Hell, I don't know if he's booked, but seeing as they refuse to give him a championship other than tag team or something, make it Sonata. Get him that spotlight.
No, he's booked. He's booked in a tag match in the first night. He's taking on the United Empires, Jeff Cobb, Will Ospreay, and Great Okan.
Yeah.
I mean, these could always be switched around. It's not like these are, you know, terribly set in stone. Then we have Wrestle Kingdom 16 in Yokohama. This is the New Japan Noah matchup. A lot of tag matches on this one. And if you don't know some of these names, don't worry, neither do we. Koji Fujita is taking on Yatsusuka Yano. Hiroshi Tenzan, Satoshi Kojima, and Yuji Nagata. There you go. That's your all New Japan 2005 squad. They're taking on Muhammad Yani, King Tani. I hope I'm saying these right. And Akita Toshi Saito. Show's taking on Atushi Kotoshi. If you don't recognize the names, just assume they're from Noah. Taiji Ishimori and Geto, or I always forget how you pronounce it. I think it's Geto. Are taking on Hayata and Saiki Yoshioki. El Desperado and Doki are taking on Yohei and Nosawa Rangai. Tomohiro Ishii, Yoshihashi, Hiroki Goto, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Master Wato are taking on Daisuke Harada, Hajime Okara, Dayaka Inaba, Yoshiki Inamaro, and Kinya Okada. I think I'm doing all right. With these names. Some dude named Zack Sabre Jr., never heard of that guy before, is tagging up with Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and they're taking on, I know these names, Naomichi Marufuji and Yoshinari Ogawa. Marcus, here's actually, I'm going to save this one for last because I love it so much. Even though it's not the main event, it should be. Moving on, Evil and Dick Togo are taking on Go Shizaki and Masa Kitayami. Kitamiya? There we go. Then we have Kazuchika Okada and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Ooh, Marcus, Okada and Tanahashi. They're tagging up to take on Kaito Kiyomiya and Keiji Muto. Oh, Marcus, that match. I don't even know. I'm not even familiar with who Kiyomiya is. But Muto, the Great Muta, taking on Tanahashi and Okada. Yes, please.
No matter, 3 out of 4 is good enough.
Right? Then the main events, Shingo Takagi, Tetsuya Naito, Sanada Bushi, and Hiromu Takahashi And they're taking on Kitsushiko, Nakajima, Keno, Manabu Soya, Tadutsuke, and Alija, I think. That's the main event. But the real main event, sir, involves Taiji, Taka Michinoku, and Minoru Suzuki taking on Takashi Sagawa, Genta, and Kazushi Sakuraba. Vargas. They're putting two pioneers of Japanese MMA in the same match in Minoru Suzuki and Kazushi Sakuraba. Someone's going to die in this match. And Kenta's returning home to Noah in this match. Like, Marcus, this is the main event. If this is the main event, what are you doing with your lives, Noah? What are you doing with your lives, New Japan? I need to see a Minoru Suzuki Kazushi Sakuraba 35-minute Iron Man match between two 50-year-olds who are both probably murder grandpas just beating the shit out of each other. I need that. You can have Sting special guest referee it, or maybe bring in Muda and Sting in, as tag team partners with them. Oh, my goodness. All the old people just beating up each other. It's the best stuff ever. Marcus, it's the best stuff ever. I love it so much. Murder grandpas, murder grandpas, murder grandpas. I shouldn't be this excited for a bunch of like geriatrics beating the shit out of each other, but yet here I am. I am excited. Marcus, I know a lot of these names may not be familiar to you. They're damn sure not familiar to me. But some of them,
No, look, we know Noah's legit, and then mixing with the New Japan talent. I mean, it's sounds like a perfect storm card to me. You know, specifically like you said with that main event, and then some other ones here and there, and then probably even some of them we don't know gonna be some sleepers. So, sounds like when is this going down?
This is going down. I closed out, so I got to go back to it. One sec. It is going down the 8th of January. It will stream live on Abema pay-per-view, and then it will be on streaming 1 week later. So I don't know how we're going to watch it. I intend on finding it the night it airs, but if I have to find another way of doing it or wait a week, then so be it. Because this sounds like a fun fucking show. So Kiyomiya is an upstart with Noah. So it's being done to help elevate him up the roster, so to speak. So that makes sense. I mean, if you're tagging with Great Muta against New Japan's Okada and Tanahashi, like they got big plans for you. They got big plans for you, homie. So January 8th. Hopefully we can watch it. Speaking of New Japan, though, New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong, the American arm of the promotion, is coming to Florida. Welcome to my house. Is that Florida? Welcome to my house, or is that someone else? I don't know.
No, trust me, WWE played it enough times for it to still be in your head. So yeah, that was him.
Oh, okay, good.
So we don't have to go out.
We don't have to go. So the show is New Japan Strong. The show that's coming to Florida is called Strong Style Evolved, and they got a pretty dope thing. It's like an X, like an old school X-Men Silver X, and in the word, like in the X itself, it's Strong Style Evolved, been like robotic lettering. And the Y is in red in style because it's the middle of it, and like there's a red banner on top of it and a red banner underneath it. I'm like, oh, this is dope. I like that. This is good stuff. So they're coming to the Florida Coliseum in St. Petersburg. No one's been announced yet. After 2 years since New Japan debuted in Florida during the new beginning, USA New Japan Strong will be bringing new Strong Style Evolved 2022 to the Coliseum in Tampa, Florida on March 20th. Was all very strong, best compete, was in front of him. And, yeah, so no names announced yet, but Christopher Daniels, Jay White, Eddie Kingston. Ooh, Jay White. I don't think I've seen Jay White's name. He might be facing Shibata. They're among some of the names that could be popping up. Plus Clark Connors, guys like... Who else is here? Jonah will probably be there. Tom Lawler, just to name a few. So I'm excited. We should all be excited. It's more pro wrestling that we actually like. Marcus, do you still watch Raw or SmackDown?
Sparingly.
I don't think I've watched anything from them in almost a year. I'm happy about that. I found a love of wrestling again.
Watching more of, Raw, like I'm appreciating following Big E because I know he's, doing what he can, what he's been given.
Mm-hmm.
So following that, obviously.
Do you follow that on like YouTube or and like Twitch or not Twitch, Twitter?
Yeah. Yeah, and try to like tune into some segments. And then on SmackDown, I just hopped off the tractor to come to this damn SmackDown taping, SmackDown Live, Brock Lesnar that they got back. Brilliant. So,
Brock
so
Flannel.
yeah, Flannel Brock is an instant classic. So anything with him now, and obviously Reigns, who's been holding the show up for the longest. So yeah, that's been great. Flannel Brock is a breath of fresh air.
Now, gotta ask, what Brock is best Brock? Flannel Brock or beatbox street dancing Brock?
That's so hard to pick, man. They're both enthusiastically violent. Uh, if I had to do it, um, I'm gonna go with the beatboxing Brock just because he's in motion. He's in motion, so that just makes it. It's like I don't know, man. It's like a shark. It's just like dun 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 dun, but it's playing in his headphones and he's vibing to it. He's vibing to
Return of the Brock. Return of the Brock. So, I too am going with beatbox dancing Brock Lesnar. But what was that you said about him? Something being violent or violent emotion? Is that what you called him?
Yeah, I said he was enthusiastic. Both.
Enthusiastically violent. That's what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Not since Taz dubbed him the Vanilla Gorilla has anyone described Brock Lesnar so adequately than you right now with enthusiastically violent. And I am hoping at one point in my life somebody addresses that to me as a nickname. This is Chad Enthusiastically Violent Porto. Yes, I am. Thank you for acknowledging that. So I completely forgot I had an image of the Strong Style Evolved ready. What are you going to do? Speaking of people that really shouldn't be in the WWE anymore, or at least fans of the product, Kevin Owens. He made the quote-unquote best decision for his family. He re-signed with the WWE. And folks, I really need to emphasize this because y'all don't get it. And it means the exact opposite. RESIGNED means to resign, as in they resigned. RE-SIGNED means they re-signed. Why does this matter? Because they mean the opposite of each other. Resigned without the hyphen means that they left. They're gone. Re-signed means that they are agreeing to a new deal. They're re-upping. They're returning. Don't make those mistakes because, trust me, they mean two different things. Apparently, though, Owens talked to Pat Laprade, who confirmed the report that he is, in fact, re-signing. Owens did the podcast, which will be released on Thursday. He released the podcast, and Owens explained to Laprade and co-host Kevin Raphael about why he resigned with WWE, and it made sense for himself and his family. I'm just going to say that it still ends on January 31st, but not on 2022. I'm still going to be there for several years. The decision was pretty easy because it was the best thing for my family. When it comes to that, it's always a pretty easy decision. WWE has been my home for 7 years, so I have a sense of belonging. Basically, I spent most of my career there. When you look at the wrestling companies I wrestled in, WWE, that's where I've been there the longest. That's where I need to be for the next few years. That's how I felt, and that's the decision I made. According to Dave Meltzer, Owens' deals for 3 years, and it's worth $2 to $3 million per year. It's also noted the deal was reportedly signed a few weeks ago. More than likely, he's going to get cut in the next 18 months. So, Kevin Owens to AEW confirmed. Big money wrestlers are getting cut in this company. I don't think anyone should be thinking that this new extension is going to be a be all end all for Steen Owens to remain in the company long term. I mean, very likely he gets cut eventually because he's not a big merch mover, and he's super fucking expensive now. So, we'll see. Marcus, was Owens re-signing the best thing for his career, even if it's the best thing for his family? The two don't need to go hand in hand. Do you think this was the right move for his legacy?
I think there's obviously a lot of other things he could be doing of a far more a poignant note in the industry right now in terms of specifically with all the free agents out there, and obviously AEW because that's becoming like a destination point right now. But he's kind of been in the holding pattern for a while, and in WWE, and then obviously that goes with the rigmarole of just being a part of the wheel. But the guys, I know you're not one of his biggest fans, but he is talented, um, and could and probably should be doing far more than he's doing. So to your question, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I would imagine he's getting enough money that I don't know how many kids he got, but they should all probably have college funds by now, if not on their way to that. So I get it from that perspective, but maybe it's also getting to that point where it's like he'd rather be, you know, kind of comfortable, and also when you resign, perhaps he got certain assurances of maybe holding titles or whatnot because we saw them do that to who that was, FTR.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see, but I just think that money talks. Obviously, it's what he's used to. We know people, it's hard to break up people when they get comfortable with a narrative, even if it's one that don't serve them. So and yeah, I also think you're kind of looking at it like everybody and their mama just can't go to AEW, and he probably don't want to go to Impact or any of the other places. So.
Apparently, Sami Zayn also re-signed, but we'll see if that holds true here in the coming weeks. Speaking of people who re-signed, I just realized, holy crap, Brody King looks like Lincoln Potter. Only with a lot more tattoos. Apparently, Brody King is all elite. The rumor has it that King is going to be debuting alongside, what is it, Aleister Black? What does he go by in AEW these days? Malachi Black.
Yeah.
Apparently, the two are a tag team, I think, in PWG and maybe even PWG Tag Team Champions. So the idea is to bring them in together, reunite them. I guess that's a thing. But kind of like what they did with Pentagon, making Malachi Black a tag team wrestler is really stupid.
I mean, you look at what Brody was doing in Ring of Honor. That might not be the best idea for him either.
Nope, he's
'Cause
a he's a he's a solid hand.
that being said, you put them together, that's a lot of knockouts. So,
We're about
we'll
to
see.
talk about knockouts. It's coming up. It's on the docket. Next up, we have a response from Devin Nichols, a.k.a. Hannibal, the Blood Hunter. Basically, he goes on to say that I didn't do it on purpose. That's basically what he goes on to say. He claims that the World Class Pro Wrestling, the promotion this all happened in, knew about him attempting to bust open the referee. So let's go back real quickly. If you don't know this, dude named Hannibal, who once blamed Abdullah the Butcher for giving him hepatitis, decided that he was going to make a referee bleed with a spike of some sort. Well, actually, he thought the referee was going to blade himself, and then he would use the quote unquote spike to quote unquote open him up. You know, the whole gigging and selling and whatnot. He claims that even though he did stab him, that the spike was not completely secured in his hand all the way, and that it was protruding out a little bit more than he realized, resulting in the stab wounds to the head of the man that he sent to the hospital. He also says that he believes that the referee was drinking whiskey and taking aspirin to help thin his blood so he would bleed more, because apparently that's what the referee said he was going to do. I don't know. It's he puts in a lot of detail into this, but a lot of it's unnecessary detail. I don't believe a lot of what he says, frankly. And I don't know why anyone would. He does kind of have a history of not exacerbating, being a bit over the top with his stories. So I don't know if I believe that this was all some accident. He's like, well, I gave him $200 to go to the hospital. And I'm sitting here going, motherfucker, it's $500 per stitch. What's $200 going to do? So I don't believe a lot of what's in this. A lot of it seems like he is. It's trickle truthing is what this feels like. It feels like he's trickle truthing. Like some of this might be true in a point of view, but I don't feel like it's actually true. I think this is all damage control because this is all he's been doing, and his YouTube channel has kind of been like a big thing for him, even though he never really got consistent big hits with it. I think he's trying to salvage his career, and I think this is the way he's going about it. I don't know if it's legit or not, but you know, I guess I kind of look at it like this: you're like an automobile driver, right? If you get into a car accident, whoever caused the accident, even if it wasn't on purpose, is still liable. Just because you're claiming that the spike accidentally wasn't completely in your hand as you thought it was, doesn't absolve you of this. That was reckless behavior. And like, how do you not know if it's like completely in your hand? Like, you can feel it. Do you have sensation in your hand? If you don't, all right, but also, why'd you do it then? If you do, then how do you not know that it wasn't all the way in your hand? How do you not know that it wasn't popping out a little bit? Like, Jesus, man. Like it's excuse central in this story. If you want to check it out, it's on WrestleZone. He posted the whole thing's posted there. It's a lengthy read, and it doesn't really say anything. But it is what it is. Marcus, do you think that there's a logical reason for all this, or do you think he just kind of went a little nutso? I think we lost Marcus momentarily. Sometimes my long-windedness can cause him to doze off and disappear into the ether. I don't blame him. Half the time I listen to myself, I get the same thing. Well, while we wait for Marcus to return, I guess we can move on. Basically, when it comes to Hannibal, I think there's a lot here that's not being said. So we'll see what happens. I do think a lot of companies are going to end up bailing on him. Right or wrong, I don't know. Time will tell. Speaking of wrong, Chris Adonis is taking on Jesse Goddard, OVW. Davis Arena, 15th of January. This is just a baffling match. OVW is definitely trying to get more eyes on the product ever since Al Snow took it over. They've been trying to be more than what they are. They are still trying to be a developmental feeder program, but they know that they need to get eyes on their guys, and a good way to do that is bring in marketable stars. Adonis is the NWA National Champion. Goddard is the OVW National Heavyweight Champion. I don't think that's their world title or their major title. I think that's their secondary title. But yeah, it's a match that they're billing as something that fans have been waiting for years to see. I don't know if that's true. Um, it is a pretty big match, but it's one of the bigger ones that OVW has had in some time. Uh, I think it's a good idea, but we'll see if it actually helps bring people in. It's definitely a swing. It's not going to be cheap, and I don't know if the 400 fans or so that they usually bring in, or 200 fans or so that they usually bring in, kind of warrants big matches like this. That's kind of one of their issues. Is the Davis Arena isn't very big. I think it only holds a handful of people, like maybe 200 or 300. Maybe not even 300. So I don't know if they're really in a place where they can be bringing in big names like Adonis. Then again, is Adonis even a big name? I don't know. NWA's making stars out of all sorts of people. We'll see if this is a match worth watching. I'll definitely check it out because I like Goddard's, and Adonis is someone I don't dislike. So we'll see if it's a match that I think could hold water. We'll see. Another match. Waiting for Marcus to get back eventually. Another match that, or I shouldn't say match, but another card that's bringing in some big names is the Battle of Los Angeles. God, it feels like this is the first Battle of Los Angeles in 2 or 3 years. It might be. It's going to be held on January 29th and 30th. The 2-night event will feature a handful of names that everyone knows, and some up-and-comers. Jonah, Alex Shelley, Kevin Blackwood. He's new to me. Leo Rush, Black Taurus, Jack Cartwheel. I've heard of him, but I haven't seen a lot of his work. Bandito, Lee Moriarty, Aramis. He's big on MLW at the moment. Jonathan Grisham, and my guy, Davey Richards. They're so far announced for the battle. I think it's 12 guys, 16 guys? Could be either or. They're definitely coming back with a bang. I don't know when the last Battle of Los Angeles was. Let's see if we can get a Google search. I know there's a Battle of Los Angeles movie. Hopefully we can avoid that. Who was in that? Aaron Eckhart, I think. That wasn't great. All right, so we got that. Let's see. Google. All right, so we did not have one last year. In 2019, the winner was Bandito, I think. Yikes, Jonathan Gresham was in it. That's good. But so was David Starr. Talk about yikes. And the winner before that was, well, who was it? Bandito again? Cobb. It was Jeff Cobb. So we'll see if there's any returning champions for this one. Davey Richards is returning champion. That's about it, though, at the moment. Bandito is. So we have 2 returning champions. That'll be interesting for sure. All right. Let's see. Then we got Impact. They're doing something. They got Hard to Kill coming up here in about 2 weeks. They are going to have a Knockouts World Championship match between Deanna Purrazzo and Mickey James. It's going to be a Texas death match. That's going to be interesting. We've seen a lot from Mickey to make you think that she's still got something worth talking about. But we've talked before about how she's obviously lost a step, but she's still solid. But these are the kind of matches that really help allow you to cover up deficiencies. So I'm excited to see what we can get from this specific match. I have to imagine, though, that Purrazzo is going to win because they're building up to this idea of a winner takes all between her, or at least the winner of a knockouts match, and Roxy, the current Ring of Honor Women's Champion, who might be going to the WWE at this point. Who knows? It's going to be interesting. A lot going on. Apparently, there's talks that Taya Valkyrie might be coming in. She's doing stuff with AAA, apparently. And she's looking for the Reina de Reinas champion, and that's being held by Deanna. So, a lot going on with the women's division. could be interesting. But you know, we'll see. Time will tell if the Mickey James Perazzo match is actually any good. I haven't been thrilled with Mickey's run so far as champion, but Perazzo I don't think is the same type of worker that Tessa Blanchard was, and I think a lot of people are trying to make her out to be, and I think they're falling short of that. I'm optimistic that this match delivers because you know Texas Death Match, kind of hard to fuck it up, but also I've seen people fuck it up before, so like I don't know. We'll see. And then lastly, last bit of news. Alex Hammerstone signed a new deal with MLW. He's going to be there through 2023, the same year that MJF is going to be a free agent. So is Hammerstone, and it's ironic because they're both members of the Dynasty when they were in MLW together. MLW is great. They brought in Enzo, and I didn't think Enzo would work, but he does. He works so well in MLW with what they're doing. Davey Richards taking on ACH here. I think at the Texas show they're filming. A lot of great stuff going on in MLW. If you haven't been watching it, it's free on YouTube. Definitely, I recommend anyone checking it out because you're going to have a good time. And Hammerstone is one of those few rare guys that actually works as a head guy, as a face of the company. He's got the Hulk Hogan swagger, but the Sting wrestling abilities. He's really the perfect specimen for a main level guy. He's Brian Cage without the need to do flippy shit. You know, if Brian Cage just wrestled instead of trying to be cool, that would be Alexander Hammerstone. So definitely, I think a person who fans should get behind. And he's sticking around MLW, and he's their biggest star. And hopefully he has a long title reign. And I think I read somewhere he hasn't lost since 2019, which is the same year he debuted. So, like, that should tell you exactly how strong he's being booked in this company. So, it looks like we haven't gotten Marcus back. Don't know what happened. But we're done. We're at the end of the show. So I'll plug all the things we need to plug, and then we'll sign off. You can find Marcus over on Twitter at Paradox Kid, PARADOX KID. That's PARADOX KID at Paradox Kid on Twitter. You can also find him on his other podcast on the True Penny Show, TruePennyShow. That's over on Twitter. Find them on Twitter at True Penny Show. You can download their podcasts through links there. I'm on Twitter at Chad Nerdcorp, CHEDNERDCRP, and on Instagram at Chad's Photo Hut, CHEDSPHOTOHUT. You can also find us on the website at realnerdcorp.com and on Twitter at NERDCORP. That's Nerdcorp on Twitter. Name changes might be coming to the website sooner rather than later. We'll see how that goes. You know, we'll see how the year end goes. I'll be finishing. I know I said this like last 2 weeks. I'll be finishing the year-end awards. I was behind on work. Now I'm ahead of work, so I'll have time tomorrow to actually get the finalizations on the last few categories done. Then we'll post the link on Twitter for you guys to vote, and then we'll give you about 2 weeks worth of time. In early January, we'll announce the winners probably. That seems to be the game plan at the moment, so we'll see if anything changes there. Same categories as always, so go check those out on the website. I think that's all I got. I think that's everything. So for Marcus, wherever you are, my friend, I'm Chad Porto. He's Marcus Green. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for giving us a chance. And remember, as always, to watch more wrestling. And you guys have a wonderful night.